Hello and welcome back to the English Hour, where we explore English in a way that is practical, engaging, and life-changing. Today, I want to talk about something that holds so many learners back from speaking English confidently, and it's something most people don't even realize is the problem. It's the habit of thinking too much before speaking. You know the feeling you want to say something, maybe ask a question, maybe respond in a conversation, but suddenly your brain is flooded with thoughts. Is this grammar right? Did I say that correctly? Will they understand me? What if I make a mistake? And before you know it, the moment has passed, and the words never come out. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I met a student named Sam. Sam had been learning English for a long time. He could read novels, watch movies, and understand everything without subtitles, but speaking was a completely different challenge. Every time he tried, he hesitated, paused, and often didn't finish his sentences. One day, I asked him to describe his morning routine in English without stopping. He started slowly, correcting himself mid-sentence, worried about every little mistake. After a minute, he stopped frustrated. I told him, Sam, the goal isn't to speak perfectly. The goal is to speak at all. Fluency comes from action, not thinking. The next day, I asked him to try again, but this time I gave him a simple rule: just talk. Don't think. Don't correct. Don't stop to worry about mistakes. At first, it was awkward. His sentences were messy. Words didn't always come in the right order, but he kept going. By the end of the exercise, something incredible happened. He was smiling, relaxed, and actually enjoying himself. And even though he made mistakes, he had communicated more than he ever had when he was thinking too much. That's the power of talking without thinking. When you overthink, your brain becomes a barrier between your thoughts and your mouth. You know the words, but they get stuck in your head. English stops being a tool for communication and starts feeling like a test you can never pass. And that's exhausting. Fluency is not about perfect grammar or knowing every word. Fluency is about letting your thoughts flow naturally, letting your mouth and your brain work together, and trusting yourself to communicate even if it's not perfect. Think about how children learn their first language. They don't stop to analyze grammar rules. They don't rehearse perfect sentences in their head before speaking. They just talk. They make mistakes. They repeat. They adjust. And slowly, they learn. That's exactly how you should approach English. The only difference is that as adults, we have a mind that loves to overthink. We need to consciously quiet that voice and allow ourselves to speak freely. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and someone asks you a simple question in English. If you pause to think about every word, the moment passes and you miss the chance to connect. But if you just speak, even if it's not perfect, you create a connection. The listener usually understands far more than you think. English is a tool for communication, not a measure of perfection. The more you speak without thinking, the faster your brain learns to form sentences naturally. Your fluency grows because your speaking becomes an action, not a calculation. Let's take a practical example. Tomorrow, spend 5 minutes talking out loud in English about anything: your day, your plans, or something you love. Don't pause. Don't edit. Don't correct. Just speak. It might feel strange at first, but this exercise trains your brain and mouth to work together. It creates the habit of speaking freely, which is the foundation of real fluency. Here's another secret: mistakes are actually your best teacher. When you speak without thinking, you will make errors, but each error teaches your brain how to improve. Every time you stumble and keep going, your confidence grows. You start trusting yourself, and over time, the hesitation disappears. That's why focusing too much on being perfect slows you down. Action beats analysis every time. Let me share one more story. One of my students, Lena, was terrified of making mistakes. She would rehearse her sentences over and over before speaking. One day, I told her to tell me a story about her weekend without thinking. At first, she laughed nervously, paused, and stuttered, but she didn't stop. By the end, she had told a full story in English, and she was proud. She realized that speaking without thinking felt liberating and actually helped her speak better in the long run. That's the magic of just talking. Your words find their way when you stop controlling every detail. So, the message for today is simple but powerful. When it comes to English, don't let thinking stop you. Stop rehearsing. Stop correcting in your head. Stop worrying about mistakes and just speak. Talk to yourself, talk to a friend, talk out loud in the shower, on a walk, or anywhere you can. Speak anything, say everything, and let your brain and mouth find their rhythm. Fluency doesn't come from thinking harder, it comes from speaking more. Thank you so much for joining me on the English Hour today. Remember, English is about connection, expression, and action. The next time you feel stuck, remember this advice: talk without thinking. Allow yourself to be imperfect. Allow yourself to speak freely. The more you do it, the more confident, fluent, and natural you will become. Until next time, keep talking, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself.